Good morning to all of you. Welcome to Budapest. I'd like to wholeheartedly welcome my dear friend and colleague, Minister Blanár. Dear Juraj, thank you so much for paying a visit to Budapest on the occasion of this very important event. I also would like to express our appreciation to the former State Secretary of Foreign Affairs of the Slovak Republic, dear Lukáš. I really appreciate that you have delivered on what you have committed yourself to. And we appreciate that during these turbulent times, you make sure that Visegrad 4 does not only survive, but becomes more and more visible. We are grateful to the Council of the Slovak Exporters to put together the Visegrad 4 Business Conference. We are happy that a tradition has already been being built, and Budapest and Hungary are part of that tradition now. When it comes to the foreign policy strategy of Hungary, then the Visegrad 4 is one of the hearts of this strategy. And we do consider the Visegrad cooperation as a true success story. A success story which has contributed to the reunification of the European continent, and a success story which has helped all four of us to strengthen our positions in Europe. We are now living in the age of dangers, and we Central Europeans have a, unfortunately, very vivid memory about how it feels to live in a world which is being divided into blocks, and how it feels to be the losers of such a global order. All of us in Central Europe have experienced how it feels to be oppressed from the East and to be neglected from the West. Therefore, we Central Europeans, we the countries of the Visegrad cooperation, has helped each other in the transition period. We helped each other when it came to the accession of the Western integrations. And this year, we are happy to celebrate the 20th anniversary of our accession to the European Union, with which we basically have retaken our position in the integration to which we always belong to, actually. We are proud that the Visegrad countries have developed so quickly and so much in the recent years that we basically became, Central Europe basically became the growth engine of the European economy. And based on all this experience, we can draw the conclusion that it is much better to live in a world which is being based on a free cooperation of all nations and countries, which is being based on free global trade and free global economy, than living in a world which is artificially divided into blocks. Unfortunately, when you look at the political discourse in the European Union, the expressions decoupling and de-risking are still being mentioned too often. And the will to isolate Eastern and Western world from each other is still being let's say, a strong initiative on behalf of some of our friends in our integrations. But I do believe that this is a wrong intention. Isolating ourselves from any part of the world is a wrong intention and can cause harm to the European economy a lot, which has already been bleeding, unfortunately, from many wounds. If we look back, the basis for the development of the European economy was a healthy East-to-West cooperation, a healthy combination of the highly developed Western technologies and the easily accessible Eastern energy sources. This is gone. But the bigger problem is that nothing came to replace this former way of operation. You know, because of decisions in and by Brussels, Europe, with some exceptions, has cut its energy cooperation with the eastern part of the continent. That has caused a loss of a GDP growth of 1 year for the entire European economic community. Currently in Europe, companies pay 2-3 times more for electricity and 4 or 5 times more for gas compared to the competitors on the other side of the ocean. So if there are business people who can still put together competitive business plans based on this reality, we need to cherish and honor all of them. So instead of dividing the world into blocks again, we are working towards connectivity. We want the upcoming period of time to be characterized by connections. And this strategy of ours here in Hungary is being called the strategy of economic neutrality. And economic neutrality is not an ideology. It's the physical reality. Hungary has become the meeting point of the Eastern and Western economies, of the biggest Eastern and Western investors. We are one of the 2 countries in Europe and one of the 3 in the world where all 3 German premium car makers are present. And we are the only country in Europe and one of the very few in the world where 5 of the top 10 Eastern battery manufacturers are present. It's interesting to see in Hungary that German and Chinese companies are building their factories not only in the same country, not only in the same city, but on the neighboring pieces of land. So for those who care about the supplier chain, that must be a good news. And here in Hungary, we stick to the fact that things which are of physical nature must not be ideologized. Therefore, we have maintained our well-functioning energy cooperation towards the east as well, which can ensure the competitiveness of our economy in the future. And don't forget, you only change energy sources if you have a better offer. So far, no better offer has been made. And on top of that, with political statements, it's very complicated to heat during the winter. You need gas and oil to operate your country. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, we do consider the Visegrad cooperation as a very important path to move forward when it comes to the development of this region and of our countries. We would like to concentrate on issues where the interests of the Visegrad countries do coincide and do align with each other. We do believe that economy is one of these areas. Therefore, when it comes to our V4 presidency starting in July next year, we will concentrate on such pragmatic issues, and I hope that we will be able to cooperate with the Council of Slovak Exporters on that matter as well. Finally, I'd like to say that that reality and pragmatism is so important that regardless of any political episodes, all 3 Visegrad countries are among the top 6 trading partners of ours. Slovakia is definitely the number 1 in this line. Slovakia has become the 2nd most important trading partner of ours generally last year. That has never happened before. Slovakia is the number 2 trading partner of Hungary, which I think is a clear evidence of the pragmatic approach of both governments when it comes to building relationship on the both sides of the Danube. Our trade has broken records and has exceeded 15 billion euros. But Poland ranks number 3, Czech Republic ranks number 6 as well, and currently there are 180 Polish, 476 Czech, and 975 Slovak-owned companies operating in Hungary, employing altogether almost 30,000 Hungarians. So I would like to argue in favor of the enhancement and the improvement of the economic cooperation among all 4 countries of ours. I'd like to ensure you that the Hungarian government lends its maximal support to you to cooperate, and I do hope that the Council of Slovak Exporters will contribute to breaking new records when it comes to trade between our 2 countries and among the Visegrad countries. Please feel welcome and wish you all the best, and I hope that today you will be able to build connections which then will bring a lot of profit to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister, for those inspiring words. I would now like to ask His Excellency Mr. Juraj Blanár to share his opening remarks with us.
Good morning, dear Mr. Minister Péter Szijjártó, dear friends, State Secretaries, Ambassadors, representatives of the private and public sectors, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. I fully agree what Péter has said, because this global analysis is very important to see what is going on around us and what is important for our future to do. The central theme of today's forum is reuniting the Visegrad 4 through business. This is a very good sign that Visegrad 4 is alive. This is very important because some of them try to do something that Visegrad 4 will not be working properly. But I think this forum is a sign that we can cooperate together. Thanks very much to the Committee of Slovak Exporters to organize this event, and also the other parts who participate in this. Over 30 years ago, our countries came together under the V4 regional format. Originally started as a V3, but after the splitting ex-Czechoslovakia, or former Czechoslovakia, we have V4. This format is very important in the middle of Europe. Since then, our cooperation has varied, swinging from intensive engagement to more reserved interaction. I feel that now is the right moment to renew our collaboration. The V4 is a dynamic market with over 65 million inhabitants. We are united by the human, linguistic, cultural, and historical ties. Together we can realize our cooperation through various projects, partnerships, and joint initiatives. While numerous tools, opportunities, and funds are available, what truly matters is the commitment of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, today we face challenges, as was mentioned. Unstable global markets, rising energy prices, and regional conflicts involving our neighbors. But do these represent threats or opportunities? That depends on how we choose to view them. Slovakia stands as one of the most open economies in Europe and the largest car manufacturer per capita in the world. Our economy relies heavily on export and foreign direct investment. With an export to GDP ratio of 91%, we rank among the top 10 most open countries globally. We must acknowledge our reality. Currently, we observe a decline in the European Union's competitiveness. While we may have differing options on specific issues, or interests to protect, we must work together with other member countries to seek consensus and support the overall institutional framework for everyone's benefit. Our membership in the European Union and adherence to the unified rule are unquestionable. However, we must also respect the sovereignty and national interests of individual countries and states. Strong counterweights to the European Union are emerging in both, on the one side, West, the USA, on the other side, the East, China and India. We need to find our place in the market, even outside the EU. The government of the Slovak Republic has prioritized strengthening Slovaks' competitiveness, identifying attractive investment and opportunities, and establishing a presence in the new emerging markets. As a minister, I am committed to supporting the prosperity and welfare of Slovak citizens. Our foreign policy extends in all four cardinal directions. Global events confirm that we are on the right path. Our ambition is to diversify our economic activities into promising emerging region and sectors. Strengthening economic cooperation across different territories is key to our resilience and prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, politics and economics are linked. One cannot exist without the other. Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not just focusing on political and security priorities. We want to assure that economic diplomacy is our priority, aiming to support Slovak companies. It is essential to advance our economic interests abroad while attracting investors to our region. After contributing a complex analysis of promising regions, we have recognized our networks. We reorganized our network of embassies. We are entering the dynamic developing Southeast Asia market by opening embassies in Malaysia and the Philippines. These regions not only offer economic cooperation but also opportunities to address labor shortages. We are also returning to Algeria, where we have historical ties that we wish to strengthen, and Tanzania, where we see perspective in enhancing economic cooperation. Our goal is to have an economic diplomat in every major territory beneficial to us. That's why we are increasing number of our full-fledged economic diplomats from 17 to 49. Their role is to assist you, the representative of business sector, in opening door to new markets and arrange the support for economic activities within territories covered by the embassies. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Slovak's Prime Minister led working visit with business delegation to Azerbaijan, South Korea, and China. Visit to Serbia and Brazil are planned before year end. I personally visited India and South Korea, and I'm planning to visit Algeria in early 2025. I extend a helping hand, and you pursue your ambition in a new market. Both private and public sector representatives can participate in these business missions. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, dear Peter, to conclude, changes in political leaderships are natural, but they should not undermine our relationships. Let us sever ties when differences arise or when views diverge. Instead, let us build our cooperation on what unites us. You may have heard that the Visegrad Group has lost its meaning. However, this business forum proves that Visegrad cooperation has both purpose and a promising future. Thank you very much for your attention, and good luck.
So good morning. The presentation is live. Hello everyone. My name is Jakub Brogyányi. I am from Slovakia and I'm an aerospace engineer. So I happen to be the person who frequently gets the call from the kindergarten, hey, did you again forgot your children? Stop working, huh? So I get to do all the fun stuff. Like recently, I was part of a launch team, the LEOP team for Hera mission. We essentially get to play Armageddon. So the Hera, European Space Agency, launched a spacecraft on the 7th of October to ascertain the change of orbit of an asteroid, just in case to see whether, if there is this scenario in future that Earth is exposed to a threat like Armageddon, can we do something about it? So we are now preparing for our future. We are investigating the possibilities to how to change the orbit, how to change the structure, can we reshape the asteroid? We don't know anything about it, and that's why this spacecraft is now on its way. Can be now like a 1.5 astronomical units. Astronomical unit is the distance between Sun and Earth, so now it's 1.5 astronomical units from Earth on its way to Mars. We'll perform a swing by and then essentially arrive at the asteroids. Today, I would like to talk to you about a few things. A little bit to the space technology, then what can space be in future? Can it perhaps be the infrastructure of our future lives? And then how to do business in space. Now I have to figure out how to move the presentation. Ah, it works, great. So, hands up who has seen the movie Back to the Future? Yeah, quite a few. Back to the Future. First movie came out in 1985. And I remember, I was a 6-year-old. I had a book about geography, technology, and stuff like that. And the book was published in 1992, and it had a page towards the end showing us the future, flying cars, stuff like that. And I remember there was a picture of a very old phone. Like, do you remember the phones? Like, who remembers the phone with the rotary dial, where you stick the finger? Yeah. So it had this picture of this rotary dial phone with a video screen. And what do we have today? A mobile phone with an embedded camera which controls my remotely operated autonomous vacuum cleaner with a camera in my living room. This is extraordinary. And we also have Amazon that delivers, I buy during lunchtime and get it delivered 10 p.m. or next day. Google, like I move through the city not really knowing where I am because Google tells me where to go, gives me the fastest route. It optimizes everything. So this is our today's life, and I would have never believed in this. And all this is possible because partially space industry, Earth observation, internet, telecommunication, navigation. Google is based on GPS, GLONASS, EGNOS, Beidou, all these services. And I would like to stress the thing that all that I have mentioned now here, the Google and Amazon, Amazon is not just a shop. It is a search engine for merchandise. It is our infrastructure. We rely on its existence. And that's why I would like to take you onto a journey to think of what could be the infrastructure of our future. Can it be space? Now, space technology, what goes up is called upstream application. This is the provision of space technology. This is what we have to bring up to receive the downstream application. Now we are getting technical. Downstream is all the telecommunication, navigation, Earth observation, and so on. Now, how to do business in here? There is a typical business case, agency business. Governmental officials, they left, I think. They play a crucial role here. They are in the position of investors because the way how this works, does it have a pointer? Oh. Yes, it does.
Very technical here.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm an engineer, I warned you in the beginning. Look, the government invests money into ESA. ESA is the European Space Agency. They return the funds back into the country in the form of contracts. Spacecrafts are being built, services created, people and businesses pay their taxes back to the government, the cycle repeats. This is the common business case. So whenever you have an idea, you can pitch it to the European Space Agency, they create a tender for this, and then companies can start working on it. Another possible business case is we build a satellite, farmers buy data, the crop yields improve, bakery bakes bread, everybody buys it, citizens have to eat, engineers build a satellite. This is the commercial business case. Here, if you think of farmers, I have a particular experience with farmers. We tried to sell them data, and it had a small problem. The infrastructure was not there yet. So we created the data. The data is free, by the way. And selling this to the farmers was a very good idea, and it is being done, but we still need to advance this a little bit to make this business case happen, but commercial business in space today is possible. And speaking a bit from topic to topic, I would like to give you one crucial question to take home with you. And this is, what is the infrastructure of our future? Why? Because look at Amazon, the richest company maybe on earth, Google as well, internet. So can space be the internet of the future? Yes. Can it be a very good, viable business? Yes, it can. Look at who was the best benefactor from the gold rush. It was not the miner, the gold digger. It was the provider of the infrastructure, the people who were selling shovels, stone picks, and the railroad company. So we should be thinking business-wise about how to create the infrastructure of our future, how to create space, and where to invest. The last question is geoengineering. Maybe we can talk a little bit on this topic during the panel. Space technology can fix the global warming. That's it from me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. And if you like to do business in space, I would like to pitch you the idea to come to Bratislava in April next year to the Vyťah Space Business Conference. I will be there. I am happy to meet you. And please fire off all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jakub, for your thoughts. Actually, while you were making your observations about the future and the infrastructure of the future and how technology has evolved so much that we can order things from our phone to change our heating 400 kilometers away, all of that stuff, we all still wear jeans. So we haven't advanced all that much. But one of the reasons why I chose a futuristic theme for the conference today is because we dwell on the past. Women in industry is an important part of our future. Space is looking to the future. Artificial intelligence is a way for the future. The green transition, we know renewable energies are our future. So the theme for this year's conference, V4 into the Future, was picked specifically with a future-leaning theme. The reason why I chose space specifically is because I fell in love with the movie Star Wars. And when I was watching Star Wars as a kid, then I got fascinated a little bit later with Reagan and Gorbachev and the space race. 1983, I think it was, with what was it called? The Strategic Defense Initiative, and all the money that was being pumped into space technology. At that time, it was just rockets. Now we see the downstream applications, how space technology can help us on the ground, which is what's fascinating. But I want to give you some statistics here. Right now, the indication that the global space technology, space tech market size is valued at $420 billion, and that was in 2022, and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 7.5% from 2023 to 2030. So there's no sign of this slowing down. Those are some really, really big figures. And the growth is obviously driven by technological advancements, which were mentioned by Jakub, increasing private sector participation, growing government initiatives, and the sector encompasses a wide number of activities: satellite manufacturing, operations, launch services, space exploration, and the development of innovative space-related technologies. So there's lots to unpack, and I'm definitely not an expert in space technology. So I'm going to defer and allow each one of my esteemed panelists first to introduce themselves and then tell us a little bit what they do, starting with you, Urs.
Okay, hi. I'm Detre. I'm a physicist and astronomer, and I'm known because, and I'm here because I give probably a different flavor of this conversation. It's more the science part and the education part. So not the business part.
Okay.
But very important topic in this regard is that there is one resource what every industry needs and business needs.
We're going to do something. And Martin and we've changed the seating. No one's by their name. Sorry if I can.
We can switch.
Let's switch, guys.
Okay.
A little bit of a little bit of round of applause. Only the Czech Republic got it right. First win for the Czechs. There we go. Sorry, Urs, to interrupt.
So maybe I will give that part of this discussion. So there is one really important resource in the whole industry, and if you talk about business technology, is the next generation of students. And this is sometimes overlooked. So, for example, just if Hungary wants to contribute in the space race, the people who are going to do that are children now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's it. So about myself, again, I had really luck to participate in very big space programs like James Webb Space Telescope, and the best part of my life, the best 15 years, and also Roman Space Telescope. And then after that, I was asked that, okay, what is the next big mission you got involved in? And I said, yeah, let's talk about children and let's work a bit on that, on Hungary, because this is really needed right now.
Thank you very much, Urs, and I'll encourage you in the audience, please, to use Slido. We have the Slido application, and I think if we can flag the Slido, I think it's hashtag V4Business, and there's a QR code there. So if you scan the QR code, please feel free to send your questions into our panelists. And yeah, please keep the questions respectful. And I want to move now to my left again, to my adopted nation of Slovakia, if you have me. And we'll move along to Martin.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank two exporters to inviting me to this fantastic conference. So my name is Martin Jančo, and I'm the captain of the spaceship called M2M Solutions. On the Earth, we are providing technologies to support supply chain management. So, for example, we are navigating trucks to meet the gate at a given time, or we are planning roads, or intralogistic, for example, warehousing. We are also integrating big robots to the warehouses to work instead of people. So this is the commercial role of our spaceship, I would say. But on the other hand, we are quite fan of the space, as you are, and we have started several projects in space domain. What is the most important thing we made so far is that we have won Horizon 2020 project, and we are working together with DLR and some other Western companies on the drone to Mars.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Martin. Moving on to you, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you very much also for having me. Good morning, everyone. And thanks also for a nice introduction, because the topic of today's discussion is space race. And I think that all of us here feel that the space race was only allowed because the situation within this industry is changing rapidly. Nowadays, the space can be reached by even smaller companies, like, for example, ours is. Also, the technologies that are being used in space are implemented towards the real scenarios that we have on ground. So not only that the situation on orbit is changing, that we have more and more satellites, and we have initiatives like New Space, But our company is also focusing on like a lower level of the airspace, which basically we are focusing on unmanned aerial systems, aka drones.
Yep.
So for us, the legislation's framework that is not really implemented yet, like use spaces, it's a crucial. And at the same time, we see that the situation around drones, the technologies are so rapidly developing, especially thanks to Ukraine, that it should be somehow well navigated towards the right result. And the connection between space and use space, it's really crucial because that can be a safety layer to being able to operate the drones on ground in a safe manner. So I also wanted to introduce my company, or our company, Flying Diamonds, which is a family business, small company with huge ambitions, global ones, and we have multiple applications. Thanks to the frameworks like you were discussing, especially European Space Agency Business Incubation Center, we were able to start 3 years ago to design, produce, and develop a solution for swarming. So we are doing light shows, but we are having also multiple other integrated solutions. And one of our things that we are now doing is integration with the satellites, thanks to the safe communication channel, which is kind of resilient against electronic warfare.
Thank you, Thomas, for your introduction. And I know all about drones because my photography team applied for a drone permit today and it was denied. I'm now going to, we have to get the flags right too. My mic is gone and the flags are wrong. Can someone fix the flags? So we've got the...
Also, I really understand your thinking about the permit, because if we want to make a light show within the city center like this, we need really multiple allowances and confirmations from many organizations to be able to do it nowadays. And hopefully that will change in some time when we have safe solutions that will be certified.
Thanks, Thomas, for your comments. And now that I got all the speakers in the right place and all the flags in a row, thankfully it wasn't there during the ministers. Otherwise, we would have really been in trouble. Last but not least, we're going to go to Poland, to Andrzej. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from Poland. And I know you also have a presentation prepared for us.
Good morning.
Not afternoon yet.
It depends in which time zone we are. Yeah. My name is Andrzej Voigt. I'm here as I work for business almost 25 years privately, as an angel investor, as a seed capital fund, advisory strategic in financing large projects, particularly focus on innovations. In 1990, as one of the leader of Polish students' independence movement, I received your Prime Minister today's Mr. Viktor Orban, and really we need to talk to politicians as a business people in order to meet our dreams, our expectations as a private investors. And I do hope that EU commissioners and the ministries are going to participate in all these working sessions in person to understand our not only expectations, but added value which we bring with our investment projects, because at the end of the day, we're going to pay taxes, net. I worked for 7 different Polish governments in 1990, 1995, in the area of privatization and FDA. This is my first visit in Budapest since May 1994. At that time, I was representing Polish government, and I was chief of a Polish state agency for foreign investments, to bring together candidates for OECD membership. I mean, Visegrad countries to bring together, to work together, join resources, as we, particularly at that time, 30 years ago, were very, very underdeveloped just after exiting communist era. And I'm here also as one of the chief of Bankauskreditsanstalt later. And I think with all these competences and experience, I'm ready to challenge the space industry and innovation projects. What I did in the last 5 years, as an outsourced, I was advisor, expert evaluator in EAC Accelerator Fund in Brussels. 26 investment projects I did. I learned procedures, and I want to emphasize that Brussels and these institutions related to funding is much better organized, for example, with Polish similar organizations. Decision-making process is absolutely faster, more simplified. So I'm not the person who is going to complain about big European Union bureaucracy. We have to do a lot in our countries. And I understand this is Business Summit, and I understand that there is way to communicate with politicians before it's not too late. Too late means frustration of business people and going to US, to Silicon Valley, to simply register companies where the eco system for people like us is more friendly. Thank you very much. I got very serious proposal for you. We used to work on this investment project of value 250 million euro since September 2012, and in the next stage I'm going to present you, because we need big project to bring people together. Are we going to work on this kind of projects, or we just gonna organize the next conference and nothing is going to happen afterwards? I'm not interested to go to conference just to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andrzej. Round up. Very straight talking indeed. Well, we heard today that it's impossible not to mingle politics with business. Let's hope that the emphasis at the conference today is more business than the latter. Obviously, we're not morons in the audience. We saw that Donald Trump was re-elected recently, and Elon Musk has been given a post in his government, in the Department of Efficiency. Which I don't really know what it means, but in terms of Donald Trump being, this is just a question because I'm interested. In terms of Donald Trump being re-elected and Elon Musk being part of his gang, is that good news for European space industry, or is that more American dominance in the space industry? What do you think, guys? Anyone want to go with that? Thomas? Martin?
Yeah. I may. So my understanding of these two people means that maybe in 1 or 2 weeks they will start to fight against each other and they will hate each other, so it will not bring anything, as I believe.
Okay, can't argue with that.
So my understanding of this situation, there are two insights. First of all, Elon Musk shows us that even something that seems to be impossible can be possible with quite a lot of effort. And you see his companies, how it works, what he was able to change within the space, and that's also why we are here today, because what he was able to do. With Donald Trump, I have the feeling that he will kind of push us to be responsible for European things. And the reason why we are here, it's a cooperation between 4 great nations, and basically, we have to take care about ourselves, taking the best from US, but also bringing the best of ours.
It's a good response. I think that deserves a round of applause. I think 60% of the space tech industry is American, so they're still the industry leaders when in terms of revenue, in terms of that. I know you wanted to say something?
Yeah, there was a very good sentence that first we have to know that something is possible. And this is what I'm always telling to my students. yeah, that's possible. So start working on it. And this is a really, really big message that this is also for us. I mean, that the Visegrad 4.
So nothing is impossible in the Visegrad 4 except parking in Budapest.
That's true. I cannot argue with that.
Andrzej, your thoughts? I know you said that you're not a big fan of political rhetoric and people making overtures and platitudes and saying the right things. Now is the time for action. But in many respects, Donald Trump coming back to power indicates a signal for... you saw what happened in the markets. Overnight, the markets went through the roof. He's pro-business, he's pro-economy, he's pro-America in every single respect. Like him or dislike him, he's a brand unto himself. So there is potential for businesses, and there is potential for European businesses. Do you think it's good for the space industry that Donald Trump has been re-elected, or do you think, nah, it doesn't make a difference?
I'm against policy where ordering pizza is a political decision.
Okay.
That's what I heard in DC living for some months lately. Unless the communication is peaceful,
yep.
I have no problem if Mr. Musk and President-elect Trump is going to fight with each other. No problem, unless it's peaceful competition. Just to give you an example, in 1991, in Poland, in the Ministry of Privatization, we counted, after many years, by the way, more than 10,000 strikes of labor unions against us to stop privatization, restructuring of state-controlled companies. We didn't give up because we had our plan, agenda. And if there is no long-term program and the right people who are going to introduce the plan which is accepted by, in this particular situation, voters, you have chaos. You cannot manage business or politics through media, through PR, for rankings. And I'm afraid that a lot of countries do it. Yeah? Recent statements of Mr. Trump seems to be very reasonable from the business point of view. However, we very much in Poland respect peace, very much. This is the country #1 who lost 22% of population in the Second World War. By percentage, the highest level. So nobody will bullshit me that you need to be pragmatic, you need to be, because of gas or crude oil prices are like this or this. The individual life is precious, the highest value. And the fact is today, and it's true, that more than 1 million people, young people, on both sides in this war, Ukraine-Russia, died, passed away. So we need to answer the question. We are in 21st century, and we going to respect people who tolerate wars? This is not environment for the business, for long-term investments. And that's the reason why dropped the FDA in Poland very significantly last year, because people, investors, are afraid of the potential next war. That's the reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming back to space technology specifically, how, Martin, did you just suddenly decide this was an industry that you were going to get involved in? Was it like Jakub, that was something burning inside you when you were a child, or was this something that you gravitated towards organically?
I think it was a pragmatic decision in my case. So first of all, M2M Solutions exists 13 years, and we are spending a lot of money for development of new products. So what we earn, we spend for development. And I find that in Western Europe, it's the technology companies are doing it a very different way. So they are producing technologies which can be used in space as well in commercial sector, and then European Space Agency is financing it, and we started to do so, and it's working very well. For example, as I said, that we are doing this drone for the Mars, we want to use it in warehouse to do the stock taking, because there is there is one thing the same on the Mars and in the warehouse. You have no GPS there, so you cannot simply position yourself. Yeah. So we are developing the algorithms. You are capable to position yourself only by the camera image, and this will work on Mars as well as in warehouse. And we have 3 projects. All 3 projects have commercial output. So nowadays I can say that we are investing into development of new products only 50%, and 50 is from Europe.
Wow.
So this is the first reason. And the second is that we are a very sexy company right now because we do space. And Slovakia has the big problem with good people going at least to Czech Republic, as my sons, for example. And we can keep the best on the projects like this.
So you mentioned, it's interesting that you mentioned space industry as being quite sexy. It sounds cool, Thomas, doesn't it, the space industry? You get to wear a bow tie. But, I mean, generally, was it something also that you were interested as a youth? Or you've seen the fact that industry, like space, also has a lot of money involved?
Well, I'm mainly a business guy from our team, so I saw both. Basically, I saw potential to earn some money, to develop further the technologies, because I'm not really a fan of these multiple projects that I see. That's like, let's develop this technology, but I don't know how to use it. That is a very common thing that is many times publicly founded. And I think coming a little bit back to the topic before, it's also a big difference between Europe and America, where in America, when they see a company, a small company, starting company that knows how to solve a problem, they are not afraid really to order something big. It was also the beginning of SpaceX, when they were kind of founded through such a big project. And of course, it involves a lot of courage from the public authorities, from the investors. It takes a lot of money, it's a big risk. But this is something what I kind of missing here in Europe. Like we should be focused on these applications, industrial, which are really meaningful. And that's why when we established Flying Diamonds 3 years ago, we started with the light show drones to be able to prove that we are able to create the complete system. So we designed the drones, make the software for them, went through the legislation to be able to perform the shows. Nowadays, we have shows in all major cities in Czech Republic behind us, and we are implementing this technology into the next things. Because since the beginning, when we applied to the European Space Agency Business Incubation Center, we were saying like, we want to do this because this is viable now legally. But we want to expand into other industries through the EU space legislation. We see that the EU space legislation, the implementation is quite slow. So we also had to decide to do something about it because that's a huge potential. And that's something that we are currently really working on quite heavily. Because there is this problem, some of the institutions are calling us like, okay, yeah, you can do it, but do you have certified drone? And we are like, yeah, how can we have certified drone when we don't have a place where to develop it and test it? So such polygon, this is something where we are nowadays really close to do. It hopefully will be soon in the Czech Republic, and I would be really happy if it would become an international hub for such thing, for such companies like we are, from Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, everywhere, or even further. Because these are challenging situations for all the companies from all of these states. And when we tackle it together, we will be able to be leaders in this field for future, because there are multiple applications even for logistics afterwards. And now we have a really great time to be leaders in this field and push it through the whole European Union and later on also worldwide, because these technologies will be the technologies of the future, connecting space and the ground as well.
Wow. Thomas, can I ask you, Do you think there's scope maybe to have a Visegrad Space Association, like a subsidiary of the European Space Association? Maybe we can start a Visegrad Space Association as a part of our conference, and you guys can collaborate together and cross-border technologies and multi-country bids on larger tenders. Maybe that's something you can discuss in the future.
Yeah, definitely we would welcome that because our idea is really to have a hub for these technologies. Obviously, we have some facilities and hopefully the space for this. And the communication between companies itself, but also publicly to the public and public authorities are all crucial things that have to all come together to be able to reach our goal.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Urs, I see that Hungary has increased its contribution recently to the European Space Association to 32 million. I think that was dollars. It might have been florins, I'm not sure. And CanSatLab is to develop a network across the country to help students enter richer competition. And your focus is bringing up the next stars in space. Now, I think I can speak.
I hope
so. I can speak safely for the rest of the audience that most of us grew up not thinking that we could study about space. But other than watching the Big Bang Theory on TV, not many of us knew anything about space. How do you encourage the next generation of wanderers and people with minds like this to get involved in space industry? And is it just from the physics side, or is it from the industry and business application side?
I have a big trick. So if you want to catch the attention of many children in one room, if anybody is...
Should we finish that sentence quickly?
Is there anyone who gave a talk to children? Getting the attention is really crucial at the start. And I have a big trick for me to help that. How to get the attention of children. I'm just asking that who wants to have such a badge?
It has NASA on the badge. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my... Actually, it's expired, but it doesn't matter. So, and of course, everybody just, stays there. Yeah, I want to do that. After that, it's sort of easy. Yeah, just to answer your very nice intro. So yeah, it reminds me one story. So around January, February this year, I had a very nice conversation with two of the CEOs of two tech companies, space tech companies here in Hungary, and I asked them that, do you want to stay in this field, in this business, long term? I mean, 5 or 10 years? Of course, certainly, because if you do, just start working on high school students right now, because after 4 or 10 years, 4 or 5, 10 years, if you really want to have really good engineers, you should invest in this generation. And this is how the idea came that let's develop a laboratory network for students using actually the space science as just, catching the attention of these children. My father always said that if you have to,
don't say in Hungarian, the translator's gone.
First, you have to catch the curiosity of the children's mind to get into science, and this is same for any kind of science or engineering. So if you really catch them really early, just imagine the career path of such a children, and this is why we started it. This laboratory network, and right now it's 14 Hungarian universities, 2 of them in Romania, by the way, and 2 dozens of companies, which is very important. And usually why it's a success story, because I usually do not ask money from the companies, but opportunities and infrastructure. And this is what they already have. And what the win-win part is that, please share your opportunities, your knowledge, your infrastructure, and I'm bringing the best children to your laboratories. And this is usually a win-win.
And that's the next generation of people in the space industry. I'm going to ask a two-pronged question to all of you now. I think when I was on the phone to Jakub a few weeks ago, when I was discussing the space industry, he said there's no such thing as the space industry without government, whichever way you cut it.
Yeah.
Is that the case? I'll ask all of you.
Education, it's not just the responsibility of the government. I even tell that I always say that school is not what you will become. It just gives the basic knowledge. The person you will become is what you do in your free time. And this is why for example, using the laboratories of companies and universities, usually this is afternoon. So when they really have the motivation to get involved into some space science. And this is how they develop their knowledge.
And I think that you're coming
so
from...
it's not just the government, all the companies, all the universities, they have responsibility to it.
And you're speaking with your educational slant.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to you, Andrzej. I'm going to talk about big contracts, getting involved in huge space contracts and being linked with SpaceX or Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic. You need substantial government support or government interventions. So the first question is it possible to have a space industry without government involvement? And second question, and I think maybe some of my audience will be interested, is there anything in the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Poland that's proprietorial in the space technology industry which America and Asia does not have, that the rest of the world should know? Because we all know well here that we have ESET in Slovakia, one of the world's leading cybersecurity companies, yet we don't hear about it outside of Slovakia. We know that the Rubik's Cube was invented in Hungary, but we don't know outside of Hungary that it was a Hungarian that created the Rubik's Cube. So I'm asking specifically, first question, is there non-governmental involvement in space contracts for large amounts of money? Number one, is the government necessary? And number two, is there something in Slovakia, in the Czech Republic, in Hungary, and in Poland that perhaps the rest of the world doesn't have, in drone technology or software development or application or downstream, upstream, any stream? Andrzej.
Okay.
I think you have a presentation.
As we have only 18 minutes, referring communication with kids, as a father of 3 kids and a grandfather of 2, communication is very difficult, and sometimes you think the communication with aliens would be easier, yeah? So, but I'm working all life. With reference to your questions, I'm going to show you some hard data, which going to present you where we are today, very shortly, and also present the project, because we have only 16 minutes, yes? So I will take, gentlemen, maximum 3-4 minutes, and I will go quick with a presentation which is boring because it's answering all your questions, Hyatt, and I'm very impressed by your passion and knowledge about space already.
Well, thank you.
This presentation is going to be available for you. Just contact me, because this is presentation which we did purposely for today's summit for the first time. Yeah, so the answers. Here we are. This is reality. Workforce in the space industry, 260,000 in US, EU 231,000. In our 4 countries, and it's confirmed by my people, 2,000 to 3,000. This is reality. We spend about 150 million euro out of 15 billion euro in European Union. So it's 1%. And we are more than 15% of population, yes, all these 4 countries. This is reality. Are we going to do something with this, or are we just going to be still passive observer? innovation projects like this requires joint ventures, public-private partnership. In my opinion, politicians are very afraid in our part of the world for PPP projects by now. Very few happen, and we need to talk to our counterpartners. And answering your questions, in my opinion, without state support, and my project is begging state for support, begging European Commission for support, as we already have all knowledge, we have plenty of experts. We have more than 25 technical universities only in Poland, and most of these people, very well educated, gone to United States, to other countries afterwards, because they got 4 or 5 times better salaries, long-term contracts, and what I'm referring to my projects in a minute, they really have up-to-date, modern research and development infrastructure in their countries. We don't. Copernicus University in Toruń, leader in radio astronomy, built up the infrastructure in 1994. Nothing happened in this area in Poland for the last 30 years. In 2012, we decided scientific institutes and universities to build up the consortium, scientific consortium. And we have location. How to go back? Can I go back? Back.
There.
Yeah. We selected location, and to be very straight, it's in my private hands. I bought island, and my original idea was to build up huge island, and next to Gdańsk area. And initial idea was to build up a resort, recreation, etc. But then I met at the conference in Copernicus University, scientific consortium, and of course, I'm also kid of Star Wars. And in addition, in '85, I was one of the winner of Geographic National Olympic contest, okay? So you can imagine space, geography, the level was very, very high, yes? And I'm one of the winners. Nobody will take from me this title. This location is already proven, checked by research. It's about 100 hectares. It's about 15 to 20 million euro, just contribution from private investor. It's real. Okay, here's location. There's designs we have already. And this is the scientific consortium. We decided, after long and several conferences, that, I know. Thank you. That scientific consortium need to be separate from the investment consortium. Asset management, design, build, and eventually transfer to Polish Space Agency, the whole complex. This is the work for professional private managers. It's not task for public institutions. This is not their rule. They should just analyze whether it's useful or not. In this particular situation, you have the top universities, and they ask from 2012 to make this happen. And there was project, and it is still #1 project in research development infrastructure roadmap of the first government of Donald Tusk, which was not implemented by his successors by now. And again, there is plenty of information what is all about this project. It's very, very sophisticated. And believe me, this is a real project for you to work together. I'm really against, as an ex-governmental officer, simply to create the new institutions. Go with the real projects which are really necessary for our part of the world. And Central Europe has no of such a center for radio astronomy and satellite observation space. And I don't want to repeat the presentation of Jakub, was excellent, because this is all about at least 20 different sectors of our business. And I strongly believe in civil area, we should focus on space tourism. I'm very serious. That was part of my responsibility in Ministry of Privatization to restructure and privatize the whole tourism and hotel group Orbis. Yes, and it's big business. We protected this from the sales of individual hotels. Today, as you know, Orbis SA joined with Accor, and only in Poland and 5 other countries, it's 116 hotels, powerful business with 10 times more sales as it was 30 years ago. You need to know about it, and here is exact proposal for you as a business people, areas, radio sensors, radio, freight elevator, data link, and all related to plenty of subcontractors and companies which we invite to cooperation. And there's plenty of other areas, believe me. I'm beginner still in the knowledge. I have no, I would
but you're
say—
good at geography.
I'm still beginning in comparison to the knowledge with Jakub. Yesterday we had great conversation, technical conversation, but you will see, as it happened in my other projects, I learn quick. These are links. We should build up practically the same what MIT did 25 years ago. High-stack, the center, and another one. These are basic, our task for politicians to build up. Otherwise, we will just talk. And this is the picture of a future center. If we don't make it, I go to US. Thank you.
Thank you. So, talking about space tourism, unfortunately, Richard Branson couldn't be here today to join us. In his absence, though, and thank you very much for that impassioned presentation and pitch. It's very compelling, Andrzej. I wanted to come back and see what I asked a little bit earlier. Is there anything specifically in Slovakia, Czech Republic, Hungary, that the rest of the world doesn't know that we have in this region? Areas of excellence. It may be education. It may be drones. It may be software. Is there anything specifically that's unique to this region that the rest of the world could learn from?
So I don't think there is something totally specific which nobody else have, but we are in the Central Europe. We have quite good education. We are good in softwares, yeah, and we are willing to work. I think this is something I would see as a important thing to be to play the role in the space sector. But on the other hand, there is a need, yeah, and this is, I think, important. There is a need because European Space Agency has a clear goal to compete with NASA. We saw the budget, and there is the dependency of European space is huge, and ESA would like to be independent. So there is a huge space for us for development of the components, electrical or mechanical ones, in the area of Visegrad, as I believe.
I'll stay with you, Martin, if you don't mind. We talked about Brussels and there being great lobby in Brussels and the European Space Agency having a lot of weight there. But in terms of breaking down the supply chains, that's a problem, isn't it, in Europe, that perhaps doesn't exist?
Exactly.
How do we go ahead and breaking down these supply chain issues? What would you like to see change?
Yeah, we have to be able to build majority of things locally, as I believe. That's the point, and that's where all ESA is focused, and this will help us to you know, not to be so rely on the very far away companies to build up the most thing here. It's called vertical integration in fields of company, and Europe needs vertical integration in fields of spaces, I believe.
Thomas, I'll ask you this, but anybody in the audience has a question, please put your hand up. I'll have a microphone come round. Don't be shy. This is a family affair. There's only a few minutes left before the coffee break, so if you have a question, please put your hand up, let me know, and we'll have someone come to you. Thomas, any addition to what they've said? And of course, Slido.
Yeah, actually, so if you asked about the technologies that many of others don't know from our country, I actually know many of these technologies, and we are cooperating with these companies that are developing parts of drones, communication, satellites, and so on. But I think that the most important thing is the same situation like with computers. There were companies that developed, for example, a mouse. But without anyone who would integrate it into a working computer, this will never work. At the same time, Czech Republic has a pretty strong position in defense industry. Mm-hmm. So there are also some of the unknown technologies that are shaping nowadays and perhaps also future.
Oz, we talk a lot about the space industry, and people have this kind of parochial imagination that it was rockets and satellites and firing things. But a lot of the space technology nowadays is to help focus us on Earth. Mapping, geography, weather, clouds, preventing fires. How have you seen space technology help us on planet Earth in the last 10 years, and in a way that we should be like, wow, this is just mind-breaking?
Spin-off technologies. Yeah. If everybody has one additional hour, then we can.
We've got 3 minutes, buddy.
Anyway, yeah, there are many fields as the part of any kind of spin-off technology. What I want to that was a very good question about the Visegrad 4. In what sense we are very good in the world, let's say. We always, as a Hungarian, we always had very, how can I say, there is a saying that we can build up a castle from, the saying goes differently, but from a very restricted budget. Mm-hmm. So therefore it needs a lot of out of the box thinking. I think we are very good in that. And this is what we can use later on, but again, this discussion is not a short-term discussion, so it's a really long-term. So again, just to come back to my part of the story, we have to really get all the companies get involved in the education if they want to have very good engineers, and this is my message for the evening or for the morning.
Not evening yet.
No.
Nearly.
So, yeah, if you have opportunities and infrastructure, just
So I'm going to give everybody a quick 30 seconds now. If we can manage 30 seconds for each one of my speakers, what does the space industry look like in the next 5 years? Yeah.
I'm starting. So it's cheaper and cheaper to put something on the orbit. So I believe we will have even more satellites, and I believe the 5G is the last telecommunication technology which has antenna on the Earth. It will not be any more telecommunication on there. It will be upstairs, because more gigahertz we have, more problems we have even with the trees and big buildings, and we have simply very bad angle of terrestrial signal. We need to go from the top, and SpaceX did it, and we have OneWeb, and we will have all this stuff there. Maybe in 10 years, I believe we will have also server infrastructure there, and we will harvest directly from the sun the energy, and we will maybe save the Earth this way, yeah? Because there is a lot of energy we need for computing, and it will be more and more, and we can put it there and have the internet backbone on the lower Earth orbit. So I believe this will happen.
Amazing. Some good foresight. So how can you beat that, Thomas?
I don't know, I will try. But from my point of view, I agree that the orbit will be full of different constellations of satellites for various types of communication. I don't see in 5 years so many people on orbit, but who knows. I think that the focus will be to use these constellations on Earth, because billions of people are living here on the ground, and the technologies should be helping us. So as of now, there is global navigation systems, different Galileo, GPS that are already shaping our world. I think that most of us came here with help of these navigation systems. But at the same time, I see how fragile this signal is and the use of it. So I think that in 5 years, we will see many other communication channels that will help us to make safer solutions for various things. Hopefully, many drones for us.
Thank you, Thomas. Urs, wrap it up. We've got minus 55 seconds.
Okay, then I think it will be a very interesting. The next 10 years will be really very interesting, because just one example, SpaceX just proved something which was completely impossible possible just this year with Starship. So becoming 1 kilogram, reaching orbit more and more cheap. Probably this space sector will expand even more than we think, and that's it.
Thank you. And finally, Andrzej?
In my opinion, the successful launch of reuse spacecraft, it's big. And more and more spacecrafts of reuse type are going to be developed. And the first tourism, first 10,000 tourists really will happen in 2035. And this is the future, if I would say in the civil terms. Of course, we face also another huge problem, the agriculture and the hunger, which is real problem. And we need to bring our soils and the different parts of the world to agriculture and feed people with organic food. And I'm not crazy green guy. More than 80% of soils in Europe is destroyed by chemical fertilizers. And this have nothing to do with ideology, yes? So we need to come back, and we need satellite connection, telecommunication absolutely when you're gonna be developed as low orbit, is very, very dense, already 35,000 satellites, and there is maybe few coming from our part of Europe. We have great task to bring our telecommunication companies to real game and own these satellites, yes? So that's my suggestion. Build up this international center as a research development infrastructure, so you're gonna keep busy all these people who you educate in your universities. Otherwise, the brain drain is going to be continued to US, but also to China. And last point, if we don't keep eye on the space industry closely from the political point of view, sooner or later we're going to have war in space. Because we know what is happening, some people know what is happening on some satellites.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrzej. And on that note, I think we all deserved a well-earned coffee. I'd like you to give a massive round of applause to my wonderful panelists today. And please don't forget to come back after the break because the wonderful, inimitable and charismatic Olivia Blanchard will be back with a blockbuster discussion on artificial intelligence. Thank you very much for your time, gentlemen.
Can we make a photo?
Yes, everybody. Guys, panelists, please.